Hey everyone, so today I wanted to give a flip through of this very monumental book. Why is it monumental? Because I actually freaking finished it. If you have been subbed to me for any amount of time, you know that by this time in years past, I would have already probably switched planners at least 2 times. So the fact that I used it for consistently from February to mid-June is a very monumental thing. Seriously. So that in and of itself should tell you how much I love this freaking book. So today I'm going to be giving my final thoughts, review, flip through, all that good jazz in the Archer and Olive dotted journal. This is the A5 size, and the pattern that I got is the foiled moon, and it does have the gilded pages. However, it is a little bit difficult to see from some angles because the book has bloomed so much. So let's just get to flipping. First thing that I want to note is because this book bloomed so much, it did warp the cover and the back cover some. So if you go very sticker happy and just with layering the way that I did, expect that to happen. That's just a part of it. Not a big deal to me whatsoever. The thing that is a big deal to me is how well this book held up to everything that I put it through. So let's just get started. So some things that I wanted to note in here are the use of layering different mediums as well as stickers or papers, should I say. I did layer some different mediums in here though. So we've got some distress ink here, no bleed through whatsoever. Very pigmented brush pen, no bleed through. Mild liners, not mid liners, mild liners, no bleed through. Just drawing pens in general. Well, you can't really tell there because that black paper is there, but no bleed through. I'm really impressed by how well this book held up. So like I said, 160 GSM paper, that means it is a very, very thick paper. I've never come across another journal that has the thick paper like this. The bullet journal that I was using previously was Scribbles That Matter, and I know that if I would have put it through the same thing that I put this through, it would not have held up as well as this one did. Now I will say here, I did put some stress on the signatures. I kind of expected on towards the end of the book, I really thought that that everything was just going to fall apart and that the binding was going to break, that all the signatures were going to come out. I was going to have to figure out some way to tape them in, but did not happen. And I'm very pleased about that. So the way that this is bound, I figured out, is they do about 4 pages and then they will sew them together saddle stitch style. Now, one thing that I will note that I do wish they would have done is I wish they would have continued sewing all the way up to the edge of the paper, but they didn't. Still held up just fine. But anyway, so this is one signature. So it's 2 pages folded, so you got 4 pages there per signature. And then the way that they binded them together was gluing and then probably sewing them together, although I don't see any strings, so they may have just glued all of this together. But anyway, one thing that I did try to do was I tried to kind of put things in different areas. Like I wasn't sticking down washi on this same side like weeks in a row, because I did know that it was going to really chunk it up on that one side. So I tried to kind of disperse everything as best as I could so that I didn't have issues with that. but as you can see, now here is where I got with watercolor. So the watercolor did make the page crinkle a little bit, but it honestly did not bleed through. Now here you will see there is a few little dots here, but I do think that that is from one, amateur use of watercolor. I am still trying to get comfortable with it, but so here I could really tell, like as I layered the colors on, I could tell that it was starting to get that kind of a almost gritty texture to where I knew the paper was going to start kind of flaking. So I just tried to, you know, come off of it for a little while, let it dry, all that good stuff. But overall, it held up extremely well to my amateur watercolory self. And I do have a little bit of bleeding here, but I think that is from maybe upward brush strokes, just kind of, but it isn't like technical, like bleed through in my opinion. So lots of distress ink, no bleed through, stamping, no bleeding, no ghosting. I'm just over the moon about this journal. The paper quality is phenomenal. Now it is not a smooth paper quality. I went from using a Scribbles That Matter, which has extremely smooth paper, but it's also not as thick. This paper quality really reminds me of the Erin Condren paper that she uses, but it's definitely thicker. So here went very, very distress ink happy, and no bleed through, no ghosting, nothing like that. You can draw in it, you can watercolor in it. Now watercoloring, yes, it will cause the paper to kind of crinkle a little bit, but I am trying, I did that with no gesso or any kind of a priming art product. It was just straight watercolor going on. So if you do use watercolor in it, you might want to think about using some gesso or something like that to kind of maybe help put a protective layer. But if the crinkling doesn't bother you, I mean, I think that would happen with any kind of paper. This is not watercolor paper, but it's very, very thick. So flippy. This was a Tombow and did not bleed through. Now I do realize there's distress ink on there, but it didn't bleed through. So if you want a really good quality notebook that you can kind of play with and be rough with, I would definitely recommend this one. So here is where I first tried the gelatos. I tried to do that cool string art thing. As you can tell, it didn't work very well, but there is some crinkling there too. So whenever you hit it with water, it's going to cause the page to wrinkle a little bit. And even if you do try to flatten it, I did try to flatten it a little bit, and it helped a little, but not a whole lot. This is all gelato here in the background. Can't see it through on the next page. So yeah, lots of layering with thick cardstock, and I didn't ever notice a difference or kind of a rough texture whenever I wrote over it. The photos with the sprocket. So yeah, overall this journal held up extremely well. And as you can see, I went very, very sticker happy in it. I even put some die cuts in here, just glued the die cuts down. Lots of layering, stamping, stuff like that. And it held up. It held up amazingly well. I mean, you can see the stress that it put on the signatures, but I'm just floored at how well. There's a journaling sticker, lots of layering there. So I glued a book page down, then watercolored over it, then put notebook paper over it, and it created a very smooth texture and did not bleed through whatsoever. Very heavy with gelatos, nothing shows. On towards the back here, there are some days where I didn't have time to really sit down and do a whole lot, so there is a little bit of sparseness here. Yeah, very sparse. And then at the end, so I completed this journal on June 16th from the beginning of February, and that's what we have. So here I was supposed to do Sunday, but the only thing I put is, and now your watch has ended. Very dramatic, but I love that show. So here, and on these next few pages, since I did use it from February to June, I just stuck some photos down just for a little memory keeping. What is on my eye? Okay, there we go. Got a couple of trackers here, and then I was supposed to like fill this out for my Aries and everything. It was mainly just playing with the distress inks. And then I don't have anything in the pocket. So that is my journal. Now, I think I've said this before. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. I don't use my bullet journal like what I see a lot in the bullet journaling world. I go very sticker happy. I use other mediums in here. I stick a lot of papers down, everything like that. I'm not saying that I'm the only person in the world that does this. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but I haven't seen it. I do daily pages, so I'm definitely going to keep with that style. And I did start incorporating like a this week page before my Monday. And I'm really digging that, so I think I'm going to continue with that. The trackers, I did use them, kind of. The mail tracker I mostly used, but other tracker type things I didn't really put in there. So I am now in the black book, and I'll just do a quick little flip of what I've been doing in here. Using those gel pens. Now, this is something that I'm noticing a lot. I do let my pens dry, but I am noticing them kind of making little splotches just here and there, but it's not really that big of a deal to me. It might be to some people, but I'm really not bothered by it. So I've been trying to kind of let my keep the page open and let it dry, like super dry. But yeah, I'm just really experimenting in this, having fun with it. I do plan on doing a plan with me in this book very soon. And speaking of the black book, I got an email today from UrsaMamaCreations saying that these books are back in stock. So if you are interested in getting a black book, it is the same paper quality as the normal dot journals with the white pages. It's 160 GSM, which to me, like I said, I've not come across another notebook that has that thick paper in it. It is such good quality, and as you can tell from my other bullet journal, you can really put these books through a lot. So they are back in stock. They've got this design. They have got 2 new covers. They've got the moon phase cover like that one, and they've also got this beautiful shooting star cover. But if you are interested in getting one, I would go ahead and grab it up as quickly as possible. If they are sold out, just sign up for the newsletter. You'll get an email of when they are back in stock. But I'm definitely excited to have started a new notebook. I want to continue to watch kind of how my art and my style evolves. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. I'm sorry if I'm a little awkward. I can tell that it's been a little while since I've filmed a video. But anyway, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them down below. All my information will be in the description box, as well as a link to purchase. And other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see future videos, please hit subscribe. I would love to have you over here. And other than that, I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye, everybody.